Shots Fired fans, it's your boy Big Joe coming to you after a dominating win by your Dallas Cowboys against the Atlanta Falcons 43-3. We've got a lot of positive things to discuss after what felt like the longest week ever last week, when the Cowboys just completely crapped the bed against the Denver Broncos. So I told you guys in the previous video, one of the biggest things that was going to determine how I looked at this team going forward was going to be how they reacted after getting blown out by Denver. And I told you early on, I always harp back on this, but I'm telling you guys, I made a video about why the Cowboys just look and feel different this year. And when I tell you they're showing up and they're showing out, it's just a different football team in 2021 for these Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy has these guys focused, locked in. Dan Quinn has that defense playing competitive, aggressive football. Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott are on the same page. And you can just see this team every week they start to gel just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and they put things together. I'll tell you what, guys, this is the first week we're going to the dollar store. Why are we going to the dollar store? Because we finally put 4 quarters together. Finally. It took till week 10 for these Cowboys to figure it out, but they finally, this is what a Cowboys team will look like if they just do it consistently for all 4 quarters. Now, we're not going to get too high on the hog because it was Atlanta, who was 4-4 at the time, and Atlanta's not anything special. There was a time when Atlanta was, the talk of the town, and it was short-lived. Matt Ryan goes 9 for 21 for 117 yards. He throws 2 picks. Josh Rosen throws another one in garbage time. We did have 3 different DBs with an interception in this game. We had Diggs, who now has 8 on the year. Jordan Lewis had one. Anthony Brown had one. And I'll tell you what, Anthony Brown, in my opinion, is still the liability. That's not going to change overnight. But he's starting to show that if they target him, he's going to at least be more competitive. And that was the one thing about Anthony Brown that I've always said is he's always in position, but he never turns his head around. He's always right there to make it a contested catch, but he just doesn't have the technique all the way down. He's starting to play with that technique now, and you can see his confidence starting to build. The more the quarterbacks challenge him, the more he's stepping up, the more that confidence builds. And you have to start asking yourself, if we don't want to throw at Trayvon Diggs, if we don't want to throw at Anthony Brown, who the hell are we going to throw to? Give it to your slot guy. Jordan Lewis is there playing nice defense as well. So the defense looks nice. They gave up 103 total yards rushing, but that was between 4 different ball carriers. Night and day different from when we played against Denver. We had another block punt on special teams. That's 2. And that's 1 back-to-back weeks, one against Denver, which unfortunately did not go our way. And you have one here against Atlanta. And who's in on it? Nashawn Wright, the guy that, for, whatever bad luck you want to call it, screwed the pooch last week. He recovers the block punt in the end zone for a touchdown. So now you're scoring on offense. You're scoring on special teams. Defense is taking the ball away. We hadn't seen that for a while, and it was starting to get a little concerning. Hey, this defense isn't getting the takeaways that help them establish themselves as a bit of a threat defensively early on in the season. So now you're seeing that come back. What better time than now? We'll take it. Micah Parsons, another sack. Dorrance Armstrong had a sack as well. Dak throws 2 more TDs to my man, TD Lamb, and Zeke rushes for 2 more. And that helped overshadow something that we hadn't seen really this season, but is something that can quickly become a concern for Zeke, unfortunately, after what we saw last year, and that is Zeke fumbles again this game. I think he had 6 between last year and this year, and he had 5 in the previous years before then. So you don't want to see Zeke put the ball on the carpet, but that's something that I'm still not going to be completely concerned with, at least not yet. We'll see how it goes, but I mean, he was running the ball well, and then just that peanut punch got him. Liram Haralahu, our kicker, 5 for 5 on the extra points. I mean, there's a positive to take away. You're just starting to see this Cowboys team look like they are going to be a legit contender for a deep playoff run. I won't say Super Bowl yet, but at least for a deep playoff run. We have the Chiefs coming up this week, I believe. And then we'll play the Raiders on Thanksgiving. So if you want to continue to build your brand, you want to continue to build the aura around your team, you want to continue to build positive momentum, beat the Chiefs. Now, I don't think it's going to be another 43-3, but what you want to do is you want to minimize the big plays against the Chiefs, and you want to just run the rock. Keep the ball in your hands. Keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. And if you can do that, you've got a pretty good chance. They played the Raiders last night, and I mean, they just completely backhanded smacked the Raiders up and down the field. It was competitive at first, and then the floodgates opened, and the Raiders just had no answer for the Chiefs. So my biggest takeaway from last night's game is I'm not concerned about the Raiders, but even with the Chiefs kind of stumbling throughout this year, they're still back on top in their division. Now, does that say that their division is trash, or does that say that the Chiefs are just, they're regathering their footing? We'll find out this week. I really do hope that we take this momentum, because we needed this momentum after the game we had in Denver. Now, like I said, the Denver game, a lot of people kind of fell off the bandwagon. You had a lot of people that were like, oh, they were exposed for who they really are. That's the real Cowboys. And you had to question, as a Cowboys fan, you had to question, was that really who the Cowboys are? But in my mind, I kept telling myself, I feel bad for Atlanta, because if the Cowboys are who I think they are, and that is a completely different team than what we've seen in the past, then Atlanta's got a butt whooping coming to them, and they got destroyed. And it wasn't even close. I think they said that they were going to have to put Dak on the doubtful list for this week, though, because he had a foot injury from where he broke his foot off in Atlanta's hind parts this past week. So everybody came out of the game looking nice. Still waiting on Tank to come back. Randy Gregory was out. We didn't have a solid pass rush at all. We continue to see Connor Williams get penalized. He's the most penalized player in the NFL this year. He's the most penalized. He's got the most penalty yards. And he continues to shoot this team in the foot drive after drive. And it is insane, the leash that he has. And people are starting to call out for Connor McGovern. The coaches see Connor McGovern every day in practice, so they obviously know a little better than we do, a lot better than we do. but something's got to give with Connor Williams. I don't know if it's levy some team fines or what the hell, but this guy he is consistently getting us behind the eight ball with these stupid penalties. It's holding, it's false starts. It's this week it was a high-low block. Now the high-low I think was a bad call. It did look like he slipped and he just fell at the guy's knees, but it's always something with Connor Williams, and it needs to be addressed and it needs to be corrected expeditiously, because we cannot be a legit playoff team and put ourselves in a position of weakness on drives, especially when every drive matters going into the playoffs. At this point, barring some colossal epic meltdown, the Cowboys are at least guaranteed to win this division. So they're a playoff team. Now it's just a matter of, can we position ourselves into the first round bye? And that would be nice. But again, like I said, you're not going to do it when you have your offensive line consistently getting penalties, making it 1st and 15, 1st and 20. You don't win ball games like that. You want to minimize the turnovers. You want to minimize the penalties. And you want to maximize how many times you can take the ball away and time of possession. So those are the recipes for this team to be successful. And I'll tell you what, I can't wait for this week just to see what these Cowboys do. To me, this is the next big game in their schedule. And as bad as KC has played, they're coming around. And they're going to offer up a challenge that I don't know if we're ready for or not. This is going to be a toss-up game for me right now. And I'm not embarrassed to say, hey, I'm not completely confident in the Cowboys this week. But any given Sunday, you'll see some things that you're just not ready to see. You'll see some things that you would have never thought you'd see. And I'm hoping that we see the Cowboys on top after this game. So with that being said, Cowboys fans, Shots Fired podcast fans, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And like I tell you guys every week, Cowboys fans, continue to embrace the hate, because if you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing it right. Peace.